Hi, this is Mark Collins. You're here with Highly Capitalized, live and direct from the floor of the Emerald Cup here in sunny Oakland. I'm delighted to be with Mara Gordon, the founder of Zelda's and probably the world's leading expert on medical cannabis. Maybe by accident rather than design? What do you think, Mara? Tell us about your journey in cannabis.
Okay, well, I think it is an accident that I'm leading, supposedly. My journey began when I was looking for dosable cannabis and there just wasn't any. So I decided I had to figure it out myself, and I started working with other people and treating their diseases and collecting the data around it. And it just, when there's nothing else to do, you just fill in the slot. That's kind of what I did.
You really stepped into that need of people to have really a data-driven perspective. And I think that doesn't just come from nowhere. I remember we spoke once about how your background and working at the high levels of these data-driven companies really helped influence Zelda's. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'm trained as a process engineer, and that means that my specialization really is pattern recognition and repeatability and all that sort of thing. All the things you do when you're
in marketing,
Well, when you're building a $100 million software program, for example, and know what to build and everything else. So I already had this skill set in my pocket, and I was so shocked when I came to cannabis that there was no lab testing at the time. Nobody knew what anything was. The numbers were all made up, and people were saying, "Oh, you know what to use by how it smells." Okay, but how do you know if it has heavy metals? How do you know if it has all these things? So I basically took the fact that looking for this kind of data, and I realized that no doctor was going to accept cannabis as serious medicine to treat their patient unless they had data to prove that this dosing range for this disease is going to work. So I set about collecting that data. I built a software platform to store it and to be able to predict what's going to work.
Anticipating outcomes is really critical in business, but also in healthcare outcomes too.
Absolutely.
So here we are at the Emerald Cup. I'm delighted to be with my great friend Mara Gordon, a leading expert, as many people will tell you, of medical cannabis insights in the world. What do you think now, moving from the health side, Mara, to where we are as an industry? I mean, Tim Blake said we're living through an extinction event where we've gone from thousands of cannabis companies to hundreds.
Yeah.
What kind of, can you offer us any hope, Mara? I mean, it's so challenging at the moment. What do you see as the outcome for all of this?
Well, I don't know if you can see on camera my t-shirt. I'm going to actually pick it up so you can see. Everybody forgot that. Everybody forgot that they forgot to dance with the one who brung them, so to speak. As you and I have spoken about before, cannabis became legal, whatever, because sick people demanded it. And even though,
like the HIV crisis here in Oakland,
and old people suffering in nursing homes and things like that, and side effects of chemotherapy, all the reasons why cannabis is so important. And then Prop 64 in California passed, and it let out the dogs, and all of a sudden companies were falling left and right that were on serious, small batch and everything. It all became popular, that dispensaries would hold with kickbacks and all the activity that went on, misleading lab results. I mean, there were so many problems with it.
Yeah, famously the COAs are, people go lab shopping, right?
Right, exactly. And so you ended up having the good players go away, and everybody's focusing on the exact same thing. Everyone's making another gummy, another pre-roll, another vape cartridge, another whatever. And it's like
the same.
Imagine having a swimming pool, a huge swimming pool of opportunity, and there's a splash, and then the puddle gets on the side, and everybody's going to go swim in that puddle. And that's what I feel like is happening, which is why I feel like it's extinction, because the swimming pool is the medical patients want assisted medicine. They want repeatability. They use much higher doses than a recreational user, and yet nobody's servicing that. And we've talked about this so much.
It's almost, I never really understood the distinction sometimes, because I saw a BDSA, I think it was BDSA or a headset, I can't remember which. The number was huge. It was like 80% plus people use cannabis to help them sleep,
Yes.
recreational
Yes.
users.
Yes.
So I couldn't agree more with what you're saying. But so, Mara, do you think that the industry will be able to evolve into that recreational and medical space, or will this recreational still be as chaotic as it is now?
That's a very good question. So I'm not a huge proponent of Schedule 3 to be dropped to Schedule 3. However, one of the benefits of Schedule 3 is the fact that insurance companies most likely will not be able to deny payment.
Oh,
At
interesting.
least because why could they? It's another
Yeah,
drug
it's a
that's being
medical.
prescribed.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Back to your point about medicine, so important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I believe that once that happens, I know I'm already getting groups contacting me to say, what can we do? Like, what kind of products are we supposed to have, and that sort of thing, to be compliant for medical. So I think that all of this is going to kind of fall by the wayside, pretty much. Meaning, all the quasi-adult use stuff without a focus on the patients at all. And I mean, when I first started in this, it was very few of us that were working with the plant, and everything else was non-plant touching companies. And now you have a lot of seed companies, a lot of things. So yeah, they are touching that, obviously, but nobody's getting the kind of final products that we need. So I think that we're going to see more of that. I think a lot of these companies that are here now won't be here a year from now. But we've always seen that. There's huge turnover in cannabis.
A lot of churn.
A lot of churn. And so it's just a matter of making sure that we support those businesses that are doing it the right way.
Wonderful. That's a hopeful message. We need to support those businesses doing it the right way.
Right.
I'm here with Mara Gordon, live and direct from the floor of the Emerald Cup in the Oakland Convention Center, this historic, beautiful center that saw bands like the Grateful Dead and the Doors played right here. And also Martin Luther King delivered some of his best speeches right here. I'm here with Mara Gordon, CEO of Zelda's, founder of Zelda's, I beg your pardon, and I'm delighted to be with her, one of the leading medical experts in the world of cannabis. Mara, could you tell me a little bit about where can people find out more about you and your plans? What are your plans for the future as Zelda's?
So I'm glad you asked, because there's actually a project that I'm working on right now. There's a group of us that teach around the world at medical schools.
Yes, I saw that.
And what we're looking to do is we're creating a portfolio that we're going to market to, like, say, you want to do a medical event here. Here's your program. Well, here's
that's
the
great.
speakers, here's the program, here's what's going to cost you. Because we think that more and more medical schools and more medical events are going to be necessary, and we could already provide from the preclinical on to the assessment. So that's part of it. I'm still continuing to see patients on, like 3 days a week, and helping them with their doctors to everything. So that's really what I did. I know, Aunt Zelda's product line, as long as I can get other people to have good products, we're always an R&D company. We never were in the dispensaries. That wasn't our focus. So I'm really happy about what we're doing with that. I'm so excited about the educational part.
That educational one is really exciting because you're providing the standard operating procedures for what a good medical, educational platform could be. And I know you're talking to others like Amsterdam and people like that. Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Oh, well,
no, I haven't, but that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm not a marketing person.
Okay.
At all. So, in fact, Christina Sanchez from Complutense University and I are working on the wireframe for this portfolio right now. And then we figured we'll hand it off to you. In fact, I used your name. And
good.
Yeah.
Great.
And say, package this. Tell us how to do this.
Wonderful.
Because none of us, we couldn't market ourselves out of a trash can.
Oh, you know what? That just shows how credible you are, Mara, because I see you, even though I'm a marketeer, I find my way to you because I need that focus on medicine. And what's exciting too is that you could actually reach Mara and work with your doctor, as she just said, to help your own medical outcomes.
Right.
So please reach out to Mara. She's such a generous, great person. Mara, it's antzeldas.com, is it?
.org.
.org. Antzeldas.org. Yeah.
And I'm easy. It's just Mara at antzeldas.org.
Mara at antzeldas.org. You'll see it down here on the chirons. Thank you so much, Mara.
My
Here we
pleasure.
are at the Emerald Cup
Yes,
together.
yay, I love it. Thank
Lovely
you.
to see you, my friend
You too.
Mara. Take care.
Wow.
You've been watching Highly Capitalized Network here at the Emerald Cup with Mara Gordon. Thank you.